Morning. I will call to order the meeting for the Chase County Commissioners for July 7th, 2025. If everyone will please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have our minutes from our June 30th meeting. Does everybody have a chance to look those over? Any additions or corrections? I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve the minutes from our June 30th, 2025 meeting.
Say.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Report signers. Yeah. Tiffany, do you have?
I'm just here to answer any questions regarding budget, if I can. Be of assistance.
Tiffany developed the fund Bible.
Mhm.
It has all the funds and explanation. Resolutions, creating such funds. She's the master, so that's why she's here. She pays the bills.
She pays the bills. Appreciate that. Any questions for Tiffany right now?
In your agenda, I forwarded that email to you over the weekend, Rachel. Up in. It's something that she's working on. She'll be in at 10.
Okay. She had emailed me Thursday afternoon. She has some lab work that needs to go to Topeka on Tuesday and was asking if there was somebody that could run them up there instead of her closing the health department. So I have reached out to Tony to see if that's something Brock could do. Also talked to Tom and he said that Kinsley could maybe run that up there, summer help, but find out for sure instead of her having to close the office and go take them if there's someone else available. So
So what did you determine?
I'm gonna get a few more details from her when she comes in, and there's a couple options there. It sounds like so. I think she just takes it, but there may be somebody that's down from Crowns Grove, and I think Jamie's not going to be available. So yeah. Could you ask Tony to come on in? And we'll go ahead. Good morning. We're doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. I guess what I have here are, this would be June, and this would be May of everything that's been done at the detention center and throughout the county, work order wise, that we are tracking and keeping a record of how frequently we have to do certain things. One of the things that we are running into that is an issue. It's been brought up before. I think to date, since we started tracking, or since John Hagelin retired, I've been tracking, and parts cost for these particular water valves are around $3,000 in the last 3 months. This is what we are up against.
Now, these water valves are at the jail,
They're at the jail. These are
and these
what
are
we're
the
up
shower.
against. These are hard water deposits that are getting in these valves. This is what we are dealing with. This is a diaphragm that's gotten hardened from that. You feel that? This is a diaphragm that is in good shape, that's soft. You can feel the difference. If they don't have that flexibility, there's just very little suction. The system over here works just like you see at Walmart. You push a button and the faucet runs for a certain amount of time. These valves that we have here are about $200 a piece. This is the base of one of those valves, and a lot of them are getting old. You can see the cracks in them. If it has a crack, I have to replace that whole valve. I don't know if that would be attributed to hard water or not, probably to age. So we are getting into a lot of that with those valves over there. I did look into a different company, a different valve other than Metcraft. The Metcraft stuff is the more expensive stuff out there. But in talking and reaching out to different suppliers, it really doesn't matter. When you have this type of a vacuum system, if you're not keeping the deposits out of there, all the little holes in these, I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's little tiny holes in these that release that air, and then you can adjust a little screw so you can time how long you want that to be on or off. When they get those deposits in there, then they just either stays on all the time, which runs up their water bill over at the detention center, or it just doesn't work, you know. So that's where we are with this. I would say that is the biggest cost right now, or the biggest problem for us over there right now, plumbing. And it's not just these valves. We have regular flow control valves for like your Sloan toilets and urinals that they are spring loaded to control flow. They get these deposits in them too. They're not a diaphragm base inside those flow control valves, but it comes in them. Caden, the new hire that we just, I think he's been here 2 months now, 3 months. He's been here 3 months. He's doing a spectacular job.
Good.
He gets over there in the morning and he hits it, and they are also having him do a lot of remodeling, painting, and moving offices around right now, and they're very happy with his performance and his ability to get things done. We did have a major issue a week ago at the jail. The switchgear that was in there was full of carbon and art, and I doubt that it's been checked. Other places that I've worked, about every year or 2 years, you would contract somebody like Schumann. They come in, they open that up, shut it down. It's a 600 amp breaker. This is your main coming into the whole building. And then they would clean those bus bars of carbon and cut down, extend the life of that switchgear. I don't know if we've ever had a system like that, but it'd probably be something that we might want to start in the future. Seeing how it did shut down the detention center a couple of times. But that's taken care of now, and hopefully the insurance man was over, Keith, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he looked at it, and hopefully, Evergy, they will not say whether it was a lightning strike. Schumann, they are pretty confident that something happened in there that sent electricity flying around in that carbon, because when you have that much voltage, the carbon that gets built up in there, it'll just attract that electricity, and it'll go, and then it starts pitting, and kind of like arc welding. It actually got to Evergy's transformer, melted down the CTs, which are the circuit transmitters, and melted. I have some photos of that where it melted it down, and we gave those to the insurance adjuster too. But they did replace all the new fuses and disconnects on the pole. So hopefully we won't have any issues anymore. I did find in the process of this a couple of things about the generator, a couple of things that were being brought up. One was flickering lights in the jail for Cheryl, the nurse. Anytime the Rolls-Royce generator would come on, it would make her lights flicker a little bit. And we couldn't figure that out. We thought it was that the Arkin probably what did contribute to it, but I found that when they go to emergency power, they still have 2 air conditioning units that stay on with that emergency power. Each unit will draw 28 amps. So you're talking about 60 amps. And they come on, they go off. It'll surge that emergency panel. One of those units, I've got it located. I got it down to one of those units. I think there's an issue with it, whether it's a bad capacitor for starting the compressors or not. But that's causing some of that flickering. But I would probably propose that we would move that out of that emergency panel, because really something like that, the air conditioners go for the offices and the meeting room. And if they had a power outage, everything else in the whole place, it's just there on the emergency panels for dispatch, for the cells, the power locks, the cameras, so they can still function in there. Why those 2 AC units were left on the emergency panel, I don't know. I feel like they should be moved, because when they come on, they surge the generator, and that creates some issues. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm suspicious that somewhere down the line, things have been added at the jail, and you have emergency power and you have regular power. Somewhere along the line, I feel like something was added, and it could possibly have been added in to that emergency power and crossed over to regular power. So when they're doing their flex, when that generator is running and it switches back and forth from regular power to generator power, if there's anything that was connected into that emergency circuit with the regular circuit, it's going to cause that flickering. I have yet to figure that out. I'm hoping that it's just that AC unit that I suspect is bad. If that's the case, I might be able to move that to the panel right beside it. And I think it's the AC unit for the meeting room. Hopefully that will take care of some of that flickering. And it doesn't happen every time the generator runs, only when it exercises. That means it runs everything that's supposed to be on that emergency panel full load. I did a lot of research with the generator technician. We always have a low fuel alarm, and he checked and made sure it's natural gas. he checked and made sure we had the right amount of water column, and we did sufficient to run that. But while we were doing that, we were exercising it at the same time, and it would run from 60 amps clear up to 150 amps for like 2 or 3 seconds. It would just spike. And that, I think, is either the air conditioning unit or maybe we have some cross lines, but we would get a low fuel alarm when it would do that. And come to find out that it's trying when it flexes like that, when it tries, and that motor really tries to, to gun hard. It's just like, that's when the alarm would go off for low fuel, because it just can't get enough fuel to run at 150 amps for 3 or 4 seconds is all it does. But we're working through that. I think we've had a few issues here and there with smaller stuff. Over at the senior center, we had to repair the refrigerator over there. It was freezing up, so I tore that down and cleaned the evaporator coil out of it, and hopefully it's back online and doing good. Keep them happy.
Yeah.
The Brock is doing a really good job. I don't know on summer help. He was asking what is expected or what, how late would he work, or what is the time when he can quit working this summer. I didn't know if there was a set time for part-time summer help. Okay, you go from this date to this date. But the bottom line is he gets his apartment to where he's going out to North Carolina to go to college. And he was hoping to work just till the 1st of August. I think by that time, the grass will be not growing so crazy, and we should be able to keep up with it. Yeah, especially, I've got Caden now, so we should be able to deal with that. But I didn't know if there was a set time.
No.
Okay. So, well, with that said, then I would imagine August 1st or 2nd would be his last day. And then we will deal with whatever, is left of the grass cutting and the trimming,
Okay.
I think we can handle that. Other than that, everything is tracking pretty good at the detention center. We've accomplished a lot in the last 3 months. For June, we got a lot done. We still deal with these pretty much on a daily basis. At one point, they had a water softener system in there. And talking to John Hagelin the other day, he let me know that when they had that water softener system in there, that he didn't have the problems that he had. And why they took it out, he wasn't sure, but this is
Very question.
this is we'll just keep replacing stuff until we figure it out. But obviously, like you seen the green hard water deposits, they're just and it kind of snowballs, because if the shower's not working, if this is not working, if the inmates, the detainees are not happy with it, they get irritated, then they just screw something else up.
Yeah.
So then it just makes more work somewhere else down the line, So I'm not saying we're pacifying them or anything, but a happy detainee is a lot less likely to tear stuff up than somebody that's irritated. So we try to keep on top of this. And like I said, Caden has been doing a bang-up job. So one other thing I wasn't sure about, got a work order from Jacob. He wanted us to try to paint some lines for parking. They had put down that chip rock. Not sure how to go about it, because if I paint the chip rock, as soon as they start parking in there, they're just gonna move the yellow around. Is there,
It's been packed in there pretty good by now. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything to go ahead and paint it.
yeah, well, earlier it was pretty wet. If I'm not able to get to it, with Brock before he leaves, Caden and I will probably tackle it. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be sprayed, if we're actually, I've seen where they pour, and they get a form or whatever. Supposedly all the stuff is over at Road and Bridge for us to do it. So I will check into that and see, but that'll be, next on our list. Other than that, we're moving along pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with Caden.
Those valves there, do you keep them on hand or?
Yeah. These diaphragms here, the kit for these diaphragms are like $40 a piece. The same with the vacuum diaphragm. The whole entire valve, if I have to replace it because it's got a cracked base like that, they're about $200 a piece. So
how often are you doing that?
we are replacing the whole valve. I think in the last 3 months, I've purchased 16 or 18 brand new valves in the last, like I say, we rebuild. I got a ultrasonic cleaner, and I use a combination of Simple Green and water. It will heat these parts up as I turn them down, heats them up to about 150 degrees, and then the ultrasonic cleans. Before I had that, I couldn't even see a lot of the cracks in there because it gets full of, deposits, and you just can't get it that clean. Also, the little air vacuum tracks that are in the top of these modules, they get contaminations. It's like a carburetor, and you put it in there and it cleans that out real well. So a lot of them were able to rebuild, but it's like a car engine. You can only rebuild it so many times, and the bases start fitting loose. They just have an O-ring in there and a clip that actually holds them together. They'll start leaking out of those fittings. We've had instances where there are 4 of those valves for 2 pods, and I will replace this and I'll get this fixed and get everything turned back on. And now this is a problem. I'll fix that. Now this is a problem. And then shutting the water off and turning it back on, you're floating those deposits back around in there. So we've got to the point to where we will build a whole system, 4 modules and 2 stop check valves. We'll go in and change out that whole thing, then take the bad stuff back to the shop, tear it all down. We'll find cracks. We'll find, deposits in there, ultrasonic clean it, rebuild it, and then we'll go again. And it makes the most sense because we're just chasing our tail a lot of times on it. So
would a water softener be a good thing?
I know from talking with people that have been out there a while, the water softener system worked according to John, but they did use a lot of salt, and the salt was a cost. So I don't know what the trade-off would be.
I know when they put in the new water system over there, they felt like that would be a lot of water. And if that's why they quit using it, or there were some issues with it, so.
I know we have had to replace one of the main water heaters. It had so much deposit and it actually blew out the bottom and was leaking. But in talking to the actual plumbers that were putting it in there, and the amount of hard water that they were seeing that the water quality, and I haven't checked the water quality. I have a kit over there. I can check that and see just how hard it is getting to the jail for information. But they were thinking that there was an awful lot of deposit in that water heater when they changed it out. And I think that water heater was around $7,000, so commercial grade. So I don't know what the trade-off would be. Maintaining and keeping water flow where it should be, on or off. If it's on, they got something running all the time. It's just, you're paying for water. And to me, it would be beneficial, but cost-wise, I don't know. We would have to crunch the numbers and see. And I don't even know where the old one was or how it was even tied in there. I don't even know that. So I could probably reach out to John Hagelin and see if he could give me some info on that, or how we would even go about it. So it covered the whole detention center. But that's about it.
I want to say they're in that west Sally Port up high. Is that where that water softener system is? Is that right?
No.
Is it around the?
Well, that maybe it was over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. We did have our inspection here a little while ago from K-Works and corrected those issues that we had. They found a couple of issues over there during that. I'm surprised we didn't get dinged on one issue, and I don't know how to address it. The North Sally Port. It heats and cools the Sally Port, the meeting room that's tied in, and EMS shop area there. It heats and cools that area. When you go in the Sally Port, you look at that south wall and you'll see the return air intake. There's a 4-square grate right there. And that's a no-no. Because when they pull a vehicle in there, if that vehicle is running, it's sucking the exhaust from that vehicle, and then it's transferring. I don't even know how they got away with building it like that, but it's something that we may get dinged on. Like I say, I don't know, but I know you're not allowed to have return air, and all the return air for that particular unit, it sucks out of the North Sally Port. So if they're in there and they're searching a vehicle, or if that vehicle is running, those fumes from that vehicle go directly in to those other offices. It's not going to the health center. It's got its own deal, but it's going into EMS and be going into like the hallway. There's a small hallway there, and the meeting room for EMS, I think. So that's something that I don't know what would be the answer for that right now. But I know it didn't get caught on the inspection, but it could, and then we'd have to deal with it. One thing is, don't pull a vehicle in there. But I know they got to use that to inspect vehicles. So. And I did go through upstairs on the roof with the painter, and I pointed out different areas that he was, I've yet to see him. He was pretty booked up. But he's going to try to get out and get those spots before winter hits. So at least we're not having any leakage or anything. I mean, we may still have some, but we're going to do the best we can to get that covered up.
Corrections that were made from K-Works
The what now?
The corrections that were made for paperwork, the names that you got that have been corrected.
They are done.
I have to have those back so I can, to the company.
Okay.
Make sure you send these out.
They're in those, work order,
Okay.
the work order things. They're in there, so. And
Dang.
I will fish these out and give them to you.
All right.
So I know I'm probably missing some because it's been busy, but we are making headways at the detention center. Anyway, we're in a good place there, a lot better place than we were a few months ago. So other than that, that's about it. Anything else from me?
I'm still working on vehicle and
Okay.
personnel, and Tom may have someone that could take that
Okay.
stuff up there. I'll get with you.
Yeah, I haven't
later.
talked to Brock or Caden yet about that.
So I'll get some more details and get with you later. So
Okay. Okey dokey.
thank you.
Mhm.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I was wondering if you'd have time to entertain an executive session for non-elected personnel for about 10 minutes.
Do you have any more? You're just here when we get into the budget. We'll just holler back at you. So. Yeah, we can do that.
Sure.
Let's go at 10 till. It's closer to 15 minutes.
15 minutes till 9:47.
If you want to do 47, that's fine.
Let's do that. With just
The three of you.
Okay, all right. I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for non-elected personnel till 9:47 with Andy Durbin and the three commissioners. I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No action taken. Finish up your budget, bring us the numbers and we can look at it, talk more. But we're just getting ready to work on the budget more. That's part of today. So you can get us your budget numbers and we can move forward and see where we're at. All righty. Thank you, Andy. I'm gonna run and get a bottle of water that I apparently left in my pickup. Right back. For any certain individual employee that's non-elected, can we look at their evaluation or their file you have on hand? Can we? Okay.
The employee fund,
Yeah, an employee file to just see what job evaluations and stuff there, what are all in the file.
I don't put those in the employee funds, they're in a valuation fund.
Yes, please.
Last year's. This is the most recent file.
Okay,
The
thank you.
Road and Bridge was the only one that did the evaluations
Mhm.
last year. I believe that was due to cost of living raise, and then the department heads were. That's not gonna be very hard. So,
This takes care of what I wanted to look at. All right, Rachel's still coming in.
As far as,
Okay. Right, and just talking in front of people is.
she has a. She's.
Budget wise, start asking questions she wants about the fire department, which top of your list, what do we need to, what's the first one we need to work on?
It's the top line of.
That's all right.
And then treasures. And also. Just her salary.
All right, everybody have your commissioner one. Bottom, that's where it was on my sheet. But I shuffled through them. Personnel services, contractuals and commodities.
So is this something we just tell what we thought or what we're.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we,
And if you look at the evidence statement, you can see where you stand currently. With half the year on. And this just put a little more in contractual. You guys can go to the KAC meeting, Kansas Association of Counties. That tends those. You're at 55% there, right? And I'm assuming that Gene, you want to pick up a few of those classes.
Yeah, I was gonna go, I think Tom Road Bridge, he added me to his to go to the one in September. So
yeah, September.
Yeah. he just, I'm right with him. So I
That's
didn't,
not- That's not staying overnight or anything.
no, that's
No,
whatever.
Is there a cost to attend?
Yeah,
Okay,
and then he said he was talking in his budget, so.
he's gonna throw it in his.
You talking about the budget workshop?
It was
Yeah.
100, yes. So if that's okay,
Oh, sure.
Yes, yes.
Everything was good.
yeah, go right with them or
Okay,
right with me, whatever.
good.
Nothing on that one. And Tiffany sent me some on other meetings, but just, I know there's lots of stuff. Is there something that you feel that I should go to? Send me,
What do you
and
think?
then,
I
you
mean,
know.
the
'cause there is-
KAC, the Kansas Association of Counties, that conferences every year in December-ish.
December this year.
And it's a couple days and that is the association for the counties.
Okay.
The KCCA, which is Kansas County Commissioners Association, which we're also a member of, has a separate conference. I think in April,
April,
April, May.
May, usually.
right in there every year as well. And they're just a lot of good information. They have good speakers. They do breakout sessions. There's good information for sure. The KAC in December, it'll be in Wichita.
Okay.
9th
Through the 11th, yeah. The 9th is kind of usually a half day. The 10th is generally a full day, and then the 11th is
The 9th and 10th are both pretty much
Are they
full days.
full
Yeah.
now.
And then the third day is generally about half day.
Okay. I mean, if that's
So,
what you suggest,
yes, I mean, it's good. I would suggest you go to one. I've been to most of the KACs since I've been coming. Since I've been at the list.
basically for me, sign me up. So this is where we're going.
No, I'm not your wife.
So, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's what you feel, you know, is the best thing to do, so.
Hi, Rachel, come on up here.
Thank you.
So you want to go to the one in December?
Yeah.
And Tiffany, give Jean. In December, KAC, you want to stay overnight? We'll take a guess. Stop in the clerk's office and tell Tiffany.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you. I just have
We're doing good.
papers. I didn't know if Anderson was.
He's not here today.
Oh,
I haven't heard.
okay. Well, I may have printed my papers. But I've been reading and rereading. Excuse me.
Sure. Help yourself.
Thank you. So, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the health department, they revalidate with Medicare every 5 years. So we received a letter that we were revalidating in July. And the last time we revalidated, sorry about all the paperwork. It's just some of it's explanations of the different titles that are involved in the Medicare revalidation form. So what I understand is that, well, prior to me being there, we had the last time we did revalidation, we had an RN and we had her assistant. And so one of the RN was the authorized official, and then her assistant was a delegated official. But with me being there right now, we're trying to reassign a delegated official. So, and in reading through the form, there is a section that talks about managing control. But when I read it and reread, so sorry about that. So basically, I think what it's saying is if you have an authorized official, they cannot be managing control. And I have spoken with Jamie, the RN, and she said, as she is technically with Morris County, she suggested that one or all of you could be the authorized official, and I would be a delegated official, but the delegated official has to be appointed or approved by the authorized official. Basically, delegated official is a person who notifies Medicare if there's changes in like the billing system or staffing or whatever, that kind of thing. And I am in the process right now, because there's the website, the cms.gov is for revalidating with Medicare. And then there's PICOS, which is a website that you use to, that I use to renew the financial side of, there's a fee for revalidating every 5 years. So anyway, I'm in the process of getting approved as a delegated official through PICOS per the way they require it done. Because we have an email set up in there, but that email cannot be used by me. I went over it with Connie. So basically, PICOS let me know to recreate another account. So I would be acting as a person on behalf of the health department to pay the fee for revalidating with Medicare. But what I'm here today for is to ask if it's all right to do it that way, to have an authorized official. I mean, one or all of you, if it's something you approve, and then I would be the delegated official. And I was reading through this paperwork, and I'll show you the part on the form for the authorized official, because it's interesting to me because I didn't. It states in here that the authorized official that they would like the Social Security which is not a problem, but on the form, it doesn't, in the part where I fill out who the authorized official will be, I don't believe they're asking for that information there, so I was trying to figure that out. So, let me get that. So that's kind of why I'm here today.
As a commissioner of the board, has made the signing party, and then designate you.
Okay, because I mean, yeah, the paperwork that I gave you is basically just explains like that we are a mass immunization roster bill. That's what we're identified as with Medicare. That allows us to administrate vaccinations in the health department for private insurance. So.
You don't need your signatures on anything.
Well, I will need the authorized officials, or officials, however it needs to be done.
We do it as a board.
No, there's just a lot of. Well, yeah, I put my own on, and actually whoever's delegated official has to be in the managing control section, so that's nice. Yes, I am. Okay, I found. Sorry, it took me a second. Sorry.
Three.
Well, I mean, I only need one, so it's really however you'd like to do it. I did type. You'll see. I typed all your information in here, but it's really, we don't have that. I mean, it's whatever you would like to do.
So do you have all three of them filled out?
I do. Yes.
Just Tony's name or all three?
I have Tony and I have Jean and I have Matt.
Okay.
But it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll just do all three of us.
Two of you are on one because that's just how it came, so that's master. It's-
Yeah, I see that.
And then, like I said, we should be good for 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years for 5 years, yeah.
But
So
no,
we are, probably need a motion to approve us, or,
So it's
so we are considered the,
authorized official.
authorized officials. Okay. I'll make a motion that the Chase County Commissioner Board is the authorized officials to sign
um,
for
Medicare enrollment.
Medicare care enrollment applications.
On behalf of the Chase County Health Department, Cleveland, thank you. Sorry. I
On
should've
behalf
said
of the Chase County Health Department.
Okay.
that. Oh, Medicare.
Medicare.
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 7.
Yeah, I didn't really, sorry. Is that- That's the letter that notifies us that we need to get.
Take your enrollment. Chase County.
Yes, it's all for the health, yes. So that we continuing the mass immunization. Like, mass immunization roster bill only, that is what we call. Apologize, is there any other, do I need to make a motion about delegated official, or is that not?
We'll do that. You are our delegated official. Okay. I'll make a motion that we make Rachel Jones our delegated official for the Chase County Health Department, but dealing with Medicaid.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On delivering the lab for tomorrow, is that still?
I mean, well, as far as I know, unless because when a person comes in, then we have to do it that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I talked with Tom with Road and Bridge, and he's got some summer help that could take it up there.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah,
He
It's
just needed some more details of address and stuff like that, so
Sure.
we get that to him.
okay, yeah, they did relocate the lab, and it's on a different, it used to be on Dwight Street, now it's on Harrison, but it just popped up in July, because before July, we had, the state thankfully would provide a courier, but they just recently stopped doing that, so. Well, they do still do it, but they have it at certain sites, and all those sites are actually just as far or further than Topeka, so.
Yeah.
We figured, since it's our specimen or whatever, our test, we thought we'd just take it straight there.
Okay.
Rather than drive it to another site, because there has been, the other concern when we were talking about it is, in the event that we took it to the other site and then the courier had already been there, that it wouldn't get to the lab within the time it needs to be, so.
These are labs for what?
Oh, occasionally we do labs at the health department. There are certain ones that we do. for the community if they call or whatever, like an appointment.
Water samples and stuff.
No, it's actually a lab. I'm sorry, it's a lab for directly related to the health department, the service that we provide, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, we did used to have a drop-off site for the water samples, but, as soon as it happened that we are not gonna be able to do that anymore, I notified all of them, so they all have the sites now that in case they would rather take it to Topeka or another site, for pickup. So they have those. No, you know what? We thought we had till October and then I think it was June. I don't think we got much more than a month's notice. So like if, as of July 1st, we'll have limited sites. They still have sites, but not as many as they did. So, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately. And the paperwork that I had for me that I don't need for this, I'm just gonna shred it. So, yeah. And
Okay.
thank you.
If you-
again.
Yeah, check with Tom and kind of get that lined out.
Yes.
He said that should work.
All right, I will email you. Thank you.
Yep.
You need that? No. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. And hopefully I won't have to call you again about it. So,
Thank you.
Is that okay?
We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bonnie. Carry that off. Thank you.
Or you don't need it. I just did the
That's
2%,
2%, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that, I don't think we need that.
Go in December. I'd probably just go for the day. That worked pretty good last year, but
I'm gonna go the whole thing this year, but actually I haven't stayed last couple of years. I drove back and forth because it was just as easy, but I probably will this time. But again, I think we're. Not many.
so. Connie, this is for the commissioners. I guess we just kept those the same and then he just did like 2%.
Yeah, that's what I did. Same thing, that's just been 2%.
And I brought that one down.
Or down, yeah, I did that. Yeah, down to 5 on the contractual.
I did the same, that's cool. My knowledge. I did raise just because I noticed commodities, every department was setting up like 67% or so already this year. And I thought, cost of things will went up. So I just raised it.
Yeah.
I just raised it to 300 is what I did, but I don't know, was my thinking. And then I looked at every department and everybody was setting up around 67% or so already this year. And that was a month ago. What I had was a month old. So it was just my thoughts.
And it comes out of ours is, what does come out of our commodities?
We are at 87%.
Yeah, and the current, like I said, was a back one. Month ago.
Subscriptions. Subscriptions. That's what.
Maybe just raise that to 300.
That's just what my thoughts, and I just know that.
I'd like to know what we spent, what's come out of that so far.
Treasurers.
Can you do budget activity report for commissioners, try to see what come out of commodities? And then, okay, that's fine, that would bring, because that'll do it for, how long is it? Yeah, just this year.
And some high, I mean,
Yeah,
we
some
paid
high.
ahead. And
Yeah, I just wanted to, yeah. Thanks.
all right, treasurer's budget. We'll come back to that.
Come back to the trigger.
No, come back to the commission
Oh,
one,
okay.
so. On the commodities.
The treasurer. All about the hourly thing that changed. In the,
Oh, you mean since he's not in the office anymore, and taking one employee up to $30 an
Yeah.
hour? He pays that employee out of the motor vehicle fund, which we have no control over. It's money that's collected.
And
yeah,
also, tries to find out that he can't do that, so.
so,
Start working specifically on motor vehicle.
Have you done that increase? No? Okay.
Until this month.
Hmm?
Until this month.
So this month here,
Yes.
the increase will go into effect.
Correct.
So for July? You're saying? So on the end of July,
From June 25th to July 25th.
so yeah, I don't know. I mean, we
didn't know how to kind of calculate the budget because that was a.
I'm pretty sure that the new treasurer is gonna be prudent and isn't gonna be paying anybody $30 an hour.
That's why I was the question, would it be changed?
She lives in daycare and all this, so she.
Hmm?
It's nuts.
Okay.
Which part?
She said about August.
All this, her woman's daycare ends in August. So caregiver is really not coverage.
Okay.
And so she won't have those hours. Okay. Well, I
That-
Probably just do it to the 2% on personnel and keep the others the same on the treasurers at this point.
Nice.
Great. So I don't know. I mean, they don't drop them back. I mean, starting new treasurer salary, I'm sure they just kind of go with what,
So I don't know that we
Was already-
need to,
or even just leave it the way it is.
I think probably because we're only 5%. That, so I think maybe just leave it at that.
99, 148. Yeah, just leave it the same.
The increase in our understanding. Yeah.
Huh?
Results of the commissioner. Committee minimum and commissioner, we have to certify it for us, the last time somewhere else.
For
Gene.
Virginia. Yeah, so that's why I don't think on our commodities, that's the reason it's up is because $156 was for you.
Oh, from like
The
your
certification. Certified, so,
Okay.
so I don't think. it's-
Probably leave it the same.
Seems odd, yeah, and then cards.
Cool.
And they were at the wrong. They said it was approved, so. Hang on, where are we doing? We did proof of this, and it's the proof, what was it, what y'all, business starts? Commissioners.
Commissioner left that S off.
Gave it to them right, but then when they sent the proof that S wasn't on there, so.
We gave it to them right,
Then we
they
just-
omitted an S, they sent it back to us, and
we said it
I
was
just
fine.
didn't see it.
Yes.
The teacher caught it. No, of course she would. Just want to know, you know. I don't know what's.
average prints them too. Average prints them too, so.
Leave the treasurers where we're at. You got that, Connie? Just to what the was from last year for this upcoming year.
No,
And the commissioner. Commodities stay.
yeah.
Then I have the courthouse maintenance.
Actually, you need to keep in mind, you want these. Okay, and you should make me copies. They're my copies that I'm handing, so.
Sure.
This one that I signed, I guess it's missing a signature of one of you.
Okay.
Please. Sorry. Is it as if I'm a W-2 employee, which I am. So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he has the budget activity for everything for this year, for the general fund.
You want me to fill it out or you just
I
the
think
signature?
I want one of those for
Sorry.
last year.
One's what?
Go up here.
I believe so,
For
yeah.
last year.
I think the first thing is mine is 59.
Um,
Oh, okay, yep.
probably, maybe, yeah.
And we had that discussion like
How
maybe
did
that
you
second
how did you figure that out? That's usually like 400 pages.
expenses and just general fund.
Okay.
No problem. Okay. Maintenance personnel, is that all just wages coming out of there?
Courthouse contraction, is that what you want?
Courthouse maintenance.
Seems what you're looking at.
There's 37.
It's the last thing on it'll be the last thing on the general
On
fund.
page
But
3.
it's,
I swear to be 50/50 with courthouse and.
The jail. Okay.
And I hope that's fair, I don't know how it's doing. Yes, I spend a lot of time.
so,
It's
so who else are you paying out?
just-
Just that number. That's too, I just rounded it to 60. I know I figured that before. Looks like there's more use of commodities.
Yeah, I was looking at that, there's some bigger, like the Johnson Controls, $3,266 come out of there. There's quite a bit of. There's fuel now that we have he has the vehicle. Say about $75 or about $150 a month. Um, Say again.
Didn't used to have a vehicle.
No, we got him one of the old jail vans to use for,
But so you got
To
the
John,
vehicles, but you
yeah.
didn't used to have it.
didn't used to have
So you
that.
got, you said 150, so 1,800 a year.
Right.
But then you got that Johnson Controls, that's kind of a one-time.
Right, and that could have come out of the, I mean, technically, it could have even come out of the courthouse commodities, which is running at 30%. So I don't think, we took it up to 11.
Is,
Oh, because of 23's actual was pretty high,
Mhm.
and then 24, but I think we should just leave it at the 11. Or maybe even take it to 10, honestly.
Take that to 10 and the commodities to 7.
Yeah, I would, since we're gonna have, yeah. And then just rounded person
To 60.
is running at 60.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, museum.
That in the grand scheme of this. We're looking for it in a report.
On the front page. Second from the bottom, third from the bottom.
Whatever. 10, 7, 15, just the 2%.
Keep contractuals at 4,000 and then personnel to 10,750. That's what 2% is.
Has it gone down because we're only like 38% through.
He's still open the same number of hours, everything, or
Basically, you know, they didn't open in the flood. You know, they only make $10 an hour, so.
Yeah, we're back a little bit on that. So January, they weren't open much.
cold and
Cold
snow.
and snow.
We should
I
probably
think
just leave
just
that the
leave
same.
it. Maybe take it to 10.5 even.
It's a 10, 5, 4.
Yeah,
10.5.
10.5, yeah, get rid of
So
the,
we're gonna get that raise.
Well, I think that it'll fit in there, honestly. I mean,
but
the way it's trending here. I mean, if you look at,
or 38%.
you look at 24's actual. And 23 and 22, I think it'll fit in there, especially if you end up having
You're looking at actual, they can get raises after those, after 20. Just 10, 5 is fine.
I mean, if you look at where 20. Yeah, I think it'd be fine, 10.5.
I'm just here to answer any questions. Did I hear you say something about Johnson Controls being taken out of the courthouse by itself?
If it needed to be.
Well, don't forget, we're all with the general fund, so I wanna take it out of the right fund so that you guys can allocate the right amount of money in that for the following years.
But that was a one-time expense.
But it was maintenance.
Right. But had we not spent that, we wouldn't. That was an extra expense, ultimately. Right.
Right, you can never justify that.
You can never budget.
Predict,
Yeah.
predict that, so.
In which case, it would come out of the courthouse general fund.
If you want me to call you about every bill that I get.
I mean, out of the courthouse
Yeah, but it,
fund.
okay, I guess I make that judgment call, but I can ask you guys if there's any extra bills that come.
No, you're
It's
fine.
just
I'm
courthouse
saying,
maintenance.
if we got to that point and we were gonna be over at that point,
Yeah,
then it throws up a flag and says, why are we over? What did we spend this on? Right? I'd rather have that. I'd rather have you call me saying, hey, we're over in the courthouse maintenance fund and we have this $3,700 bill.
okay.
And then I'd be like, wow,
I
we
just-
haven't had one of those in 5 years. That's the first time it's come about.
That would be a problem, is if you guys said, how much did we spend for maintenance on the courthouse, I could run one report for that fund instead of
Yeah,
like paying.
I'm fine with you putting it in there initially. I'm just saying if we, we get to the end and you don't have enough money in there, then we go back and we see what all did we spend that money on, right? Then we're like, oh wow, just like now, I didn't realize that the reason that is up as high as it is because we had a $3,700 bill that we wouldn't have normally had.
Was normal.
Which takes us to 84% of our $6,000 budget. Right?
Yeah.
Without that, we would be well under.
I don't overanalyze
So.
that because we're all in the general fund there, so like.
Yeah.
You guys can see what was paid out of where.
Use them on gas.
All right, museum, leave those. All right, I have the health department, personal services.
I was looking at
Rachel really work. Does she work?
she's full time.
Yeah.
So hours.
40 hours a week.
40 hours a week. Yeah.
44.5. So yeah.
That's what I got. Juvenile detention.
Where are we gonna-
So you left.
Oh,
I just gave it to you.
you got that, Connie?
Go ahead.
Okay. Juvenile detention. Huh?
That's what we have to have something.
Yes, I would say just leave it
Just leave it.
where it's at.
Who's doing that?
All right, grant writer, personal services. Paid that out of our 200 fund.
So. So are you explain that to us? So you're pulling, you've got it coming out of,
Let me see that sheet.
you've
That's
got,
actually me. I have it there. That's how we, that's the motion that was made.
the motion that was made is to be paid out of Fund 200.
That's what she's doing.
Oh, let me.
She's,
Sorry, I don't think you guys like copies.
So do the funds, just like this one here, Fund 200, is that off and on, or is that kind of just?
so the 200 fund, the money that goes in that is, it's the jail excess revenue fund. So there's a resolution that is established that takes $12,000 a month from the jail and goes into Fund 200 to build that up. And so if you look at their fund sheet there. And so what we did, then we also did another transfer into that fund. So this last year, we used that fund to supplement, to bring the mill levy down. We supplemented 1.5 mils out of there and another 2. So we actually did 3.5 mils is what we brought it down, utilizing excess revenue.
jail.
May not be able to do that every year, but we obviously probably like to at least do the 2 that we did, that we kind of built in at this point now. And then if there's room for extras in there.
Well, I was asking with.
And so when we hired her, we decided to use that fund, that way it's not, and we would see how it went and then determine if we wanted to actually budget it like it kind of is here. Right. So anyway, I think that we maybe and she's really starting to get some traction and you know, I think that it's definitely been beneficial. That was we wanted to use the Fund 200 to make sure
So when you have
before we
to
decided if we wanted to
for
add it in.
me, so I can learn, you know, like here, right here, is that something where we could have a column that says out of Fund 200? So I can sit here and learn that what funds are doing what.
We have to create a spreadsheet for reports and have a column.
It doesn't have, okay,
You can identify.
so you don't really, this is kind of set in concrete, kind of. It's just so I can get the hang of what funds do what.
So you just transfer from 200 back into the general then to cover this or what?
The transfer, she's got another report. There's a transfer sheet here somewhere, I have not looked at it.
We hired, not quite a year ago, it was August last year? Or was it later?
It's later, I think the first paycheck.
So maybe just last 2 months of
Last
last
year.
year.
Of last year.
She's been paid.
It's like performance.
She was hired. She only got one paycheck last year. So she's been here since 7.
So, that's
2 last year. Right, it's like.
November, December.
I could double check myself. Yes, we took 26,000 from the Fund 200, the jail access revenue, in June and transferred it into the grant writers personnel services. You can see that here. I do need to go and put the budget authority in, that's why you're not seeing the percentage to the side in that report. I put the cash in there, but I didn't put the budget authority, so that's why the percentage isn't showing, but it is in there. It shows what we spent out of the jail access revenue, that Fund 200.
No.
And that 26,000 is part of that, that I showed you guys the other day with this, everything that's coming out of
Yeah.
Fund 200, so she's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So if we decide to establish it to come out of the general fund, then it would be, we would have all these, that would make it easier to see, but.
Yeah, I just have to go in and put that number, it's there.
So I guess that's the question, do we wanna? You know, general, or do we wanna continue with the,
And
continue on?
do
what
another
you're
year,
saying?
1 more year
Yeah.
and see
I'm good with that. So,
benefits from that. Or it's-
so we would leave that at 0 then? Or do, you're also paying some, a little bit of,
Paying her into the courthouse general,
the contractual type stuff.
refunding mileage, costs and stuff.
Which is kind of, it's not a ton.
It's not a ton, and I also, like, on that spreadsheet tracker, I have a grant writing tracker tab at the bottom, so I'm kind of trying to keep track of what we spend and what we get.
So let's leave that at 0.
and the, Then I have liability insurance. Last year we budgeted 190. We're actually at 215.
I'm sorry.
General liability insurance contractual. Do we have all that type of insurance paid for the year
So far,
so far?
unless we buy something new or do we change this?
Then it's
Yeah, what
Addition to
percentage are we at?
uh,
What percentage are we at?
oh, percentage.
114,
Yeah. We're over.
but you've paid the,
Yeah, I paid full premium.
Yeah. Okay.
And we are in the process of doing that.
getting a
Yeah.
quote from K-Camp.
K-Camp, yeah, they want quite a bit of information and they said that it would probably be November before they were able to get us figures, which Kirk said the same thing. And then Kirk is gonna quote us our workers' comp insurance as well. So, and we're getting both of them information.
It's detailed. Very detailed.
Change that to like 220,000 for.
It's anybody's guess.
Right, I mean, that would at least cover.
Yeah, the actual.
I think we just go to the. Yeah. 220.
I erased it, that's what I had. 220. I just didn't know where to go there.
Yeah, well, it just,
See where it.
and I believe the last one I have is the employees' benefits. On this one, nothing yet, so.
That one. Questions there, capers versus the KPF. That's gonna be a big change. of what We put in. So with the
What
money,
is that?
oh yeah, I got it figured out, but that's.
Will that come out of the sheriff's budget?
Joe Givers comes out of those employee benefits line.
Just as the sheriff is in general.
Okay, so it's all. I just
So if
haven't
we
made a
account
note.
for it in one or the other, we'll be fine. Right, if we either account for it in his or here.
I just put a note of plus 5% on all of them. In unemployment, we have run low, but we also had a sizable amount in 22, so.
I seen that too, the unemployment had dropped. It was.
Maybe even 8%.
Maybe we leave the health insurance because we can and raise all the others. We've got it.
Because our health insurance, we could use some of our reserves from them. above everything else. At least 5%.
They're in this commission.
You said 10%?
10 to
But again, we
15%
have the reserve
increase.
sitting there,
Yeah,
so
we can use some of that reserve.
Max. he's gonna have to. Yeah. Gonna work in this year.
He talked about taking that part of it, taking over part of it. Remember that? When he was in here?
Oh, you, on that,
Yeah,
yeah,
from the
yeah, that would,
Capers work.
for everybody. I think we still have to kind of account for,
Ideally, you could leave that, you guys decided that, make a separate line item, make it on our fund, just like keepers, right?
yeah.
That way we can
Yeah.
keep track.
Capers is like
How you can track it.
eight,
KPN.
what is it, 8.34 or something like that. And it's, yeah,
Capers is 6% employee. Like almost 10%.
but the KPN can be like 21, almost 22, it's like 8 or something like that. Which I think needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's the feedback we got. We're all looking to-
I think
Employment's
I
at
think we leave
12%.
that.
Unemployment, we've only used 12%, so I think
Leave it
leave it
at 7,500 maybe.
Worse, now it's only 5. Yeah, 70, that makes
Just 75.
$70.
the workman's comp.
Or 75.
Yeah, we're way over right
I
now.
just looked at the way over, it's what I.
Yeah, but we have,
But in years past, it's been fairly steady.
Yeah.
Workman's comp, large increase so far this year. Does that look like it'll still be?
I can run a report on that. You're saying the percentage was a lot more than last year
Well,
so far.
we had 27 budgeted and we're currently at 35,000, so plus. We're sitting at 131%.
Going up each year, that's why we're getting a quote from K-Work for,
And that's just
Kurt.
pay, we're paying into that insurance on that. Is that correct? We're not paying an individual or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just the insurance.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Do you want me to run the report of what we paid in the past? Today?
You can see it here.
We've got it here, Tiffany. I mean, that's just what I was
the
curious.
2025 premium,
36.
the 2025 premium was 28,859. And there was an additional premium post audit paid of 63.93 for 2024 for the previous year. So,
So we made the 35.
so again, I think 30 maybe, 28,859 is what we paid for 2025.
So, yeah, 30.
I'm not sure when we switched, was it 22? From Kurt, from Kurt to-
Yeah.
Yep.
So Connie,
Appropriation, we want to mess with it.
yeah, we can look at those.
Let's just go through the general. See what we have. So we know which one we still need.
Charlie, what can we help
I
you
just
with?
wanted to drop off that information you guys were wanting on the sales journal as far as what we had sold in chemical for the last,
Oh, okay.
since 2020 to 2024.
Okay.
That's it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
As long as you're not asking for money.
Oh, no.
Good to go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, just go down. This sheet,
Yeah.
is what she said.
Do you have the appropriation file?
I don't.
Okay, I can go.
Nice. Start the first page and see what we got. So we've got commissioner. Treasurer deeds.
County attorney, clerks.
Did we, I don't think we want to go and do.
I thought we had Kathy's. Was about the same.
It was about the same.
That's what we know.
Did that, emergency, Scotland, museum, district court. Yes.
We did
That's
it.
the same as it was last year.
Yeah. Where's it at? Where's it at? The appropriations.
Should be right there by our phone.
Should be right where our phone, she thought.
District court's done. We did the health department personnel.
You have district court in it?
If you want to look at.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, you have a better, yeah.
And I will get that. We have. It's a lot cleaner to look at. I'm gonna check for my appropriation.
Okay.
So.
Well, we did. I thought we did.
We did courthouse maintenance. Not contraction, back, or the regular courthouse is. So it's. There's some payroll. What payroll will be coming out?
I give blood at noon, so.
Okay.
And do it drink, I'm very hydrated.
What, who's paid out of the, courthouse? Okay. Alright.
Are you waiting to see the ones that have already been in? Appropriation file? The appropriations,
Well,
Are you
we
wanting
were
to see
gonna
it?
finish, yeah.
everyone that's been in?
Yeah, I thought we were just not, we finish these first though.
Yes. Good on this page.
Well, what they asked for is on there, so.
Right.
This was, I think everybody else was pretty close to the same, but he was an increase
On appropriation.
on appropriations, yeah.
But I can't find,
Yes.
This is a appraiser, so we don't. Nothing from the Historical Society?
I have not heard from them, but I usually reach out to them. I was just kind of basing that on this. They haven't asked for it.
No, we did have.
Some of those appropriations are in the general fund, and the others have their own fund, like mental health is levied for Crossman, so it's not in the general fund. So,
Courthouse is also now cross-fit, so. those are
Right.
combined.
Out of the courthouse, you're paying 3 Evergy bills. What are the 3?
everything is, courthouse, contractual.
That's another.
There's a large one I can only assume is for
Is
here.
the courthouse, and then we have like a siren and a light out front or a side light. It's the side light. It's a little one.
Yeah.
I can go pull them if you want.
Yeah, because there's a 135, one that runs around 140, one that runs around 500, and one that runs around 1,000, 1,200.
museum.
For our bill
Do what?
museum. Surely not a $400 or $500 bill. To be honest. Yeah.
I think it's the senior center. We took over.
Oh, yeah. I bet that is.
Yeah, we do pay
That's
terms.
right.
The senior center. Makes sense.
We're making, she's by statute, 26 and 5.5. Yes. She just didn't make it work, so we took over things.
Yeah, when I was on the rec, I gave her more money. The rec.
Yeah.
Through the rec. To her. Senior center. Guess I'll just have one, yeah. I was rec director.
Any other feelers she's got back there?
I was rec director and we were giving her money anyway,
Yeah.
so we raised it, because it was struggle.
It's the courthouse, the security lighting, and then you guys, decided to start paying the senior center.
Senior
bills.
Gotcha.
Our light bulbs.
You figured it out,
Right, we wanted you to get more steps.
That's okay.
Maybe exercise.
So the appropriations all stay the same with the exception of, we don't have the historical society. Where's it now? Just saw it. It's been the same on.
Yeah, that's always been the same, but adding it to Crosswinds.
I think you're gonna still keep, I assume you'll keep. You're gonna combine the appropriation for corner house and crosswinds into one, or are you gonna keep them separate, so you have mental health broke out and you
I
have,
wrote them out, I just wrote one check this time, because I'm paying them this month, the second half.
Mhm.
So it's all two crosswinds, but I did two line items.
they're gonna keep, okay.
Because the mental health is actually levy. Levy's tax.
Appropriations, I guess.
I'd say no, just what we did last
No,
year,
the only one that had the increase was the
legal services.
legal services. It's a modest increase, so. Back to,
Okay, courthouse. Contractuals.
keep
Contractual right now, we are at 31%.
Do we have something big?
What are you guys on?
The courthouse, the contractual, so we bumped it to 190 for 2025.
Look at 2024's contractual expenses.
154. Oh, you mean to see if there's a
Yeah.
big one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
also coming out of there is, Advantage Computer, like cybersecurity, all of our, we switched over to Adobe with them, so that all went up. And each license we get, we have to pay for, so. It's quite a bit actually.
Adobe doesn't have like a business.
We do, yeah, we just buy our licenses through Advantage Computer, that way they manage all of them. Like you took over, you know, Alan's license, so we're not having specific ones. It's just easier that they manage them. And they host our email server and website and all of our monitoring for cybersecurity. They do all of
So AS 400, that 40,000, that would come out in December.
that. Maybe more, they're supposed to be putting us a new server, because ours has become obsolete already. Has it been 5 years? We're getting it in the process of getting it.
So around that, let's see, 56. It, with that expense, that large expense will be 50, right at 51% right now,
After that.
instead of the 30. So I just added that big expense in, and then to get a percentage, so if it was already spent, we'd be right. All the other expenses are the same expenses it will.
Okay.
The incurring. So,
And the senior center bills are coming out of there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which was new last year.
right,
It's new last year.
so.
Same. That gave us a
I
little
think-
room compared to.
Yeah, I think so. Commodities.
It's right on 30%.
Can,
185.
what?
Go 185 and 12.
Or we could probably leave the 190 just in case. I don't know if you want to go down. Yeah, I think we could do 12 on the commodities. Yeah.
Give it back to her so we don't scribble in each other under what we did.
Courthouse,
Construction.
leave it at 190. Well, take it down. And then all the appropriations that, so the only one that we need that's in question would be the Historical Society, CNFA. But I would assume, I mean, it's been the same for the
several
last 3
years.
years. So you just leave it at that.
Which is 22.
28, 215.
So that concludes the general fund, except for,
Appraiser's office.
huh?
There's an emergency preparedness.
Yeah, so-
Scott was in, we have,
You got it down there.
Okay,
Yeah, the zeros are missed. Yeah,
those papers,
he did change, but just had to go a little bit to commodities because of fuel.
fuel for the new ring,
Yeah,
yeah.
UTV.
that's all it really changed. Have to even kind of offset that.
The only thing I would ask
Dropped it from track.
to the general fund is the past couple of years, you guys haven't appropriated anything for that special equipment reserve fund.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And so, and we haven't made, that's where the county equipment money comes from. And we haven't made a transfer since 2022. It's just dwindling down, we're at 188 now, so. So I don't know, we used to do
Get to the end of
100,
the year, yeah,
but you have to appropriate
the
for it.
budget for,
So we don't have to do the transfer if we get to the end and we don't have it, but. We have it. Same with the capital improvement fund.
So we should probably just go ahead and set it up.
100,000.
Huh? But we've also been budgeting we haven't been leaving a whole lot. The last couple of years, we haven't left a whole lot of room, kept it pretty tight.
Yeah,
So,
shoots with me. So
huh?
I had questions about that, right?
Just like what we're doing right now, I mean, we're pretty much, this is what we're gonna spend.
But I always wonder why you wouldn't adding a figure every year to it, just to build it up, until when you do hit that, like this year, you bought a lot, you know, then you're covered, you don't have to worry about it, and then that's why, so, okay. So,
And then the city will come in and tell you you have to get out of there.
Because once and when all these numbers are plugged in and they tell us, you know, this is what this is
Yeah, when
what
you're
you're
sitting
going
out
up.
there, you can't see all that. So makes sense.
I think we filled in all the lines, but one, but I stick with that.
Nine-one-one fees, we didn't know what to put in there. We didn't have it to you. We budgeted 137,000 last year. Actually, 2024 was 42,000.
I feel like that's one that Cindy kind of gives you authority for how much cash he has. That's his, I mean, you can only spend that on some certain things, and you only have the authority.
I gotta have, I have.
Gotta have a number in there.
But it comes off of our cell phone bills and
Yeah, the detention center, only, that, for my email the other day, every $12,000 that's being transferred into Fund 200,
mhm.
it's all been allocated for bus, whatever, I said $4,000. So we're not putting any more money in that, that's not building up. Yes, it has like 400 some thousand, but I mean, we're not putting any more money in it, so if you guys want to increase the transfer, that's something to consider.
And then we have to, huh?
Resolution.
It's a resolution already, so do we just amend the same resolution, or do we do a whole new resolution?
I think we just amended it when we increased it before. So it was $6,800 when we were paying it off, and then we went to
I just think we should drop it, let's maybe take that to 15. But we can do that. You need to do a short executive session if we could, just 3 of us.
That would be great, so.
for
Non-elected personnel.
Okay, that's
Um,
exactly what I had.
are these the ones you want me to go make copies of? for them?
Yeah.
well. No, go ahead. No, you just leave. We got.
I make the no, make a motion to take the session,
So
non-elected personnel, coming back out at 11 for, well, 10 minutes, you want,
that's fine.
what time is it now? Coming back out at,
11:45.
11:45.
Second, it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for non-elected personnel till 11:45. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay.
No action taken. Anything else, gentlemen?
I don't think so.
Connie?
Make it good. See you
All right.
next week.
We're here again on Monday, 14th. All right. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.